You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
What a beautiful day for horses in the morning.
You are listening to the #1 horse podcast in the world. Here is your entertaining look at the horse world and the people in it.
Good morning, everybody. I am Glenn the Geek, coming to you from actually a chilly Ocala, Florida.
Wow. I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma.
It's 25 this morning. We're freezing.
You poor thing. What are you doing? I'm Jamie Jennings in Norman, Oklahoma, where it's so warm. And you're listening to Horses in the Morning on the Horse Radio Network for Friday, January 24th, episode 3612, brought to you today by Kentucky Performance Products. Good morning, horse people.
It's Friday, and another weekend of riding is a few short hours away. Jamie and Glenn are here to help you make it through the day with some fun guests and some really bad ads. Enjoy the show.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We do have some fun. We're going to talk a lot about fire today for some reason.
We're going to go back and forth between uplifting and fire.
and tragic.
But it all ended good. The spoiler alert, it all ends good.
Yes. We have world-renowned horse trainer Leslie Desmond. She's going to join us to tell us about how she survived her truck exploding while driving down I-75 here by Ocala. And Auditor Kayla is joining us with our breeds of the alphabet. Apparently, we're at the B's. I think you and I both missed A.
Yeah.
We're at the breeds of the alphabet, and we're doing the Bashkir Curly.
This really should count for B and C.
Well, it could, yeah. Well, actually, no, I'm sure she'd be happy not to. She's the one that came up with this idea, and she's already going, I don't know what I'm going to find for some of these letters of the alphabet.
Uh-huh.
And then we have some really bad ads today. We're going to do that. There'll be no Auditor Post show today, as Jamie and I both have things we have to get to after the show. But we appreciate the auditors. Thank you so much.
Don't say that. I literally have nothing to do. I'm in a sling. I'm stuck under house arrest. Glenn has things to do. And I would be more than happy to sit here and talk to nobody.
Did you see in Horse and Hound that a former eventer in England, she was a former eventer and point-to-point jockey. She hunted and did eventing things into her 80s, and she just celebrated her 100th birthday party, and she was riding a horse doing it. She's 100 years old, still riding, and I mean, that's just cool. I mean, how many people 100 years old can still be riding? She only stopped riding a few years back, and she was still riding. She won a cross-country championship at 78. I mean, that's craziness. So
that's awesome.
Elizabeth Breton is her name, and congratulations to her, and very, very happy birthday. And she said she attributes horses and riding to her longevity, and she said she's going to continue riding. So,
now, to be fair, like probably behind the scenes, yes, I attribute horses. But anytime you ask anybody who's 100, like, what is the secret to life? They'll be like, whiskey and cigarettes, or something like that, like crazy.
That's true.
I drink whiskey every day and I have lots of boyfriends.
I think, if you're contributing it to horses, I think it entirely also goes to how many times you've fallen off and broken things, because I don't think that helps longevity, actually. Well, it might not hurt longevity, but you're going to be hurting for your later years.
The reason you live forever is because you've been patched up so many times, you're basically bionic. Ask me how I know.
Yeah. As you're sitting there in your sling.
Yeah.
Hey, on Wednesday, I talked about a guy I met at PodFest by the name of Chip White, and he is the brother of Vanna White. And I said he has a podcast where he interviews the relatives of famous people, but I didn't know the name. And I found the name. So Chip White's podcast is called Relatively Famous. Relatively Famous.
Very
Great name.
Clever.
It is a clever name. And I've been trying to get somebody on once a month to do a auditor-only kind of show. And I've been getting some of my podcast friends to do that. And last month I had Scott Johnson on, and Chip's going to join me this month. So we're going to do it in the next week or so. We're going to do a little video for the auditor. So you'll get to meet Vanna's brother, and he can talk a little bit about the famous relatives that he's talked to already. And I did listen to one of the episodes with his niece, actually, Vanna White's daughter, and he does a good job. It's a fun show. So we'll get him on and have a chat with him. I thought that would just be fun. All right, let's do some Daily Whinnies. We have several auditor birthdays today. Amy McElderry. I'm going with that. God. Aaron Anderson, Claire Runnelson, and Pat Noon. Happy birthday to all of you.
Oh my God, you're the worst at pronouncing names.
How do you say that one? McElderry.
I'm not even looking at it. McElderry. McElderry.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that hard. Like, I
That's
don't know.
what I said. So that's why I said I'm going with it.
Okay. Remember, if he mispronounces your name, it is a badge of honor, because then he normalizes you, basically, in his world.
You're one of the special people.
Yeah. Clips Awards were announced. Torpedo Anna is the horse of the year. She is that super mare who ran against all the boys, and she was just amazing. And she won the Kentucky Oaks and the Breeders' Cup Distaff. And anyway, congratulations to her and all of her connections. Now, I did hear that Seize the Gray won Moment of the Year for winning the Preakness. I couldn't find that online, but Clark shared it. So
I didn't know there was a Moment of the Year.
I didn't either. That's why when I looked at the list of Eclipse Awards, I wasn't on there. So we had Horse of the Year, 2-year-old male, filly male, 3-year-old older dirt male, females, sprinters, jockeys, trainers, breeders, owners. I didn't see a Moment of the Year, but you know what?
Did Clark make that up, do you think?
Yes. I think if he did, then own it.
So, Jamie, before we get to our first guest, you obviously take horses in from Horse and Hound, the rescue that we've supported all these years, and that you take horses in and have adopted out 100 of them after retraining. But did they have a fire the other day?
Yeah, it's so crazy. So one of their biggest pastures borders the freeway. So when you are at Horse and Hound, it's over 100 acres, and you stand there and you can see in the very far end of the whole property is the freeway.
And it looks like a busy freeway. It's a major freeway.
Oh, yeah. It's the I-35. It's huge. So apparently some truck sparked something on the ground. So it was basically a spark happened that came from the freeway. A fire caused a spark from the highway. Who knows? Probably something. Anyway, it caught the grass on fire because it's so dry. It's winter, and it sparked a fire and immediately went up into their pasture, burned all their fences. Now, they saw it so quickly, they were able to run and save every horse from the pasture. They got every horse out of the pasture.
Right? In that pasture?
Yeah, there's usually around 40 horses on the property, 40 to 45. And this is kind of the pasture in the back where a lot of the horses that are just kind of retired forever live. So they're not even handled all that much. So how they were able to go grab and halter all of these horses and get them out of the pasture in time for the fire coming. Plus, not to mention, it took the fence down, because the fence just burned up at the time. So the fact that they were able to save all of the horses.
That plastic fence?
Yeah, they have that vinyl fencing. Yeah. And so it just melts. How do you prepare for that? I started thinking, would that happen in my house? Yeah, because we have wood fence. It would burn even quicker. Yeah. So they were able to get all the horses, keep all of them from going on the freeway. But obviously, there is a lot of damage. The whole pasture, if you look at pictures, I posted them on my Flyover Farm Facebook page, the pasture's just black. just everything is just, it's
and
just
it just stopped by
charred.
itself, or the fire department managed to
The
get
fire
there?
department came and all their volunteers went out and got the horses, got everybody there. There's so many dogs there too. There's like 50 dogs, and they were able to keep everybody off the freeway, get everybody out. So if for some reason you have a little extra Christmas money that you didn't spend, go to Horse and Hound Rescue Foundation, their website, and you can just PayPal them $20 or something to help out. Because the fact that they were able to save everything and everybody, and just fire has been consuming all of us in our mind for so long, and then to have this happen so close to home, it's just heartbreaking. So I'm really glad they were able to I was supposed to get horses in training this week, and obviously they're quite backed up at the farm, and they're having to put a lot of horses in different paddocks until they get their fence fixed. So it's amazing that
Fire Day here on the show.
Yeah,
Jeez.
amazing that it happened, that it worked out, like what a beautiful ending to the story, as everybody's fine.
All right, good. Well, that's the good news anyway. And I'm glad it didn't hit the buildings. I mean, they managed to get it out before that too. So.
Oh yeah, the fire department was on it. So yeah, who knows how that spark came from, but if you see anybody throw a cigarette out the window, lay on your horn or rear end them. Well, I mean, we had snow not too long ago, but it's just that tall, wispy grass in the winter, and it just lit up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, good. I'm glad nobody was hurt and that they managed to get it out before it hit the buildings. Yeah. And hopefully they raise enough to get the fence fixed. Let's hear from Kentucky Performance Products, and then we're going to come back with our first breeds of the alphabet, starting with the letter A.
This Nutritional Minute is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. More and more horse owners are managing older horses. One of the best ways to care for the senior horse in your life is by prioritizing their digestive tract health. Older horses are less able to maintain a well-balanced microbiome and repair and replace damaged tissues. This can lead to an uptick in ulcers, colic, or free fecal water syndrome. Poor gastrointestinal health decreases the horse's ability to digest and absorb adequate nutrients. It also impacts the effectiveness of the immune system, leaving older horses less able to fight off diseases such as EPM. Adding a research-proven digestive supplement to your older horse's diet can help maintain a healthy GI tract and reduce the incidence of digestive issues. We recommend Probiotic Wise to our customers with senior and geriatric horses. Probiotic Wise contains the true probiotic Saccharomyces boulardii. Unlike other yeast-based probiotics, S. boulardii remains viable through the acid environment in the stomach. It supports the healing of damaged tissues, reduced inflammation, and the optimal digestion and absorption of nutrients. Furthermore, Probiotic Wise contains fermentation metabolites that support a well-balanced microbiome. Probiotic Wise is sold through your veterinarian, so ask your vet if Probiotic Wise is right for your older horse. You can learn more about Probiotic Wise at kppvet.com. Got questions about your feeding program? We can help. Email Karen at questions@kppusa.com or call us at 859-873-2974.
It's time for Breeds of the Alphabet. From Arabians to zebras, we take you on an adventure, highlighting a breed for every letter of the alphabet. Can we do it? Stay tuned in 2025 and find out.
Oh, I like that intro, Glenn. I don't know how we're going to do X, but I'll let you continue to work on that.
Ashley's problem. She's doing the booking.
X is going to be the grade horse.
Or, we are doing horses in history too. So it could be, wasn't it Xena, the first horse, Xena?
Don't start reaching into your brain trying to figure it out now. We got a minute. So now we're going to focus on the B for the Bashkir Curly. We've got Kayla, who is actually an auditor of ours. Hi, Kayla.
Hi, guys.
And I know you love curlies because you just got a new one, didn't you?
I do, yeah. Yep, I just brought home Odin in October, and he's a 1-year-old American Bashkir Curly gelding. Finally, we just got him gelded, so.
Yes. Oh, you were able to get him gelded. Brain surgery is the best, right?
Yes, amen.
So tell us a little bit about the American Bashkir Curly.
Yeah, so they're really funny. Obviously, the thing that stands out to most people is most of them, not all, but most of them come with this super fluffy, curly coat. They look almost like a labradoodle or a sheep, even some people say. But that's definitely their strongest characteristic and what draws most people to the breed.
And that I think I remember I worked at the Kentucky Horse Park like a billion years ago, and they had a Bashkir Curly, and I remember them talking about the horse's hair being like hypoallergenic. Did I dream that?
No, a lot. It's kind of funny. The science is still sort of out on that one, but what they've kind of concluded is that for some reason, and this is why I got into curlies in the first place, but people who have allergies just tend to react less to the curly. They are tentative on calling them quote unquote hypoallergenic. But yeah, I know like for myself, I was a horse crazy kid and my parents were not horse people, but they found these quote unquote hypoallergenic horses and was like, hey, let's give it a shot. We want to get our horse. Let's try it. Got some hair samples from a horse we were interested in and I did not react at all. And we ended up bringing her home and I had no allergies at all to her whatsoever. So I think it's dependent on the person and the horse, but definitely an option for people who want to be around horses that do have allergies for sure.
What's funny is that the hair is only one of the things in the barn I'm allergic to, be it the dirt, the dust, the hay, all the other crap that goes with it. So maybe you just aren't allergic to the rest of it and the horse is hypoallergenic. So you're good.
There you go. There you go. That's true.
So now, where did it come from? Did they breed like a horse to a poodle and get a doodle? Is what happened?
So there's like documentation dating way back, like ancient times, like cave drawings of horses that have curly hair. They don't really know for sure. The most like modern documentation of curly horses was back in, I believe it was like the late 1800s in like the Nevada Basin area, and the Damali family actually like bought a hunk of land out there, went out riding and noticed that some of these wild horse herds had horses in them that had a full curly body. And they're like, well, that's weird, but okay. And then I believe it was like, I don't know, maybe early 1900s, they started bringing them in and looking at them, and they had like a terrible winter at one point where like almost all of the horses that were out there that were not being fed and taken care of by rangers died, with the exception of the Damali family. Notice these curly horses were still out there, still kicking, doing great, thriving. So they kind of made a point to gather them and bring some in and bred those mares to some of their foundation studs. I think particularly it was like Morgan's, Arabians, quarter horses, things like that, because they really liked these hardy qualities. These horses were really hardy. They had great feet. They required, pretty minimal care, and they really liked them. And so kind of going on from there, they just kind of kept breeding them, and we're where we are now.
So they're kind of like, they are kind of doodles. They're the doodle of the horse world. They're kind of bred to everything.
Yeah, which is like part of like a little bit of the controversy, I guess, is they're kind of steering away now from the idea of calling them a quote unquote breed, because really what a curly is just a horse that has these genetic mutations, these genetic markers passed down, and they can bring most of those back to those horses from the Damali family. But essentially that's all it is these horses that carry this gene that they pass down to their offspring.
So they seem like they're a little bit of everything. So does that mean they're kind of like each horse is good at something different? Like, what are they used for besides keeping you from sneezing?
Besides that, yeah, they're good for that. It kind of depends, really. What's funny is that curlies, again, because you can kind of crossbreed them with anything, and they are so registerable with those curly horse registries. I have seen curly drafts. I have seen curly mules, horses of all different sizes. What they kind of all have in common tends to be, again, like really good feet, excellent feet. I don't know that I've ever met a curly horse that needed to be shot at all. They tend to be super intelligent, very curious, It's almost too much so. Mine have always gotten
does
me
that
into
make them
trouble.
naughty?
Oh, very much. Yeah, we had my first mare was a Houdini. She was really good she was like a Zeus. She would get out of everything. But other than that, they're like really good at things like endurance. There's even like a huge push nowadays for like curly sport horses. So we're seeing a lot of them in the dressage arenas, the jumping world kind of coming up, but they kind of can do everything.
I love that Zeus's name is now just not just a name. It's like a personality trait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause I get it. Like you were describing, I started thinking, I'm like, did Zeus have curly hair? And then you said his name. I'm like, yep, that sounds about right. So
well,
they can
also like curly horses can also have straight coated babies. You never know. Maybe he's got some curly genetics in there.
He was a Mustang. There he is a Mustang. So you never know. So you breed a couple curlies together and you might not actually get a curly.
Yeah. So my first mare actually was a straight coated curly. Both of her parents were registered curly horses with really tight curls, but for some reason she popped out with straight coat. Now, she could still have thrown had we bred her like a curly baby. Just for some reason, that gene can be, recessive or dominant, obviously, depending on the horse. Kind of like,
breeding stock paint. Yeah. Breeding stock paint. Like you breed paint to a paint, you get a solid. You're like, come on.
Yep. But it does happen. So yeah, technically they can range in everything from like coats that are so curly that they lose their mane and tail in the summertime just because of the way the hair follicles are, or they can be completely straight coated and you would never know they're curly unless they maybe get wet.
Wait, did you say they lose their tail in the summer if they're curly?
Some do. Yeah. Some of them have such tight coat patterns and manes that they will actually lose their mane and tail in the summer months, and then they regrow it back in the fall. And
I've never heard of that.
Usually yeah, it's a little strange looking. It almost looks like everyone's just been roached.
Okay,
but
so
it is a thing.
Let me get this straight. They have amazing feet, but they're bald. Like
some of them, yeah.
How hard is it to take care of? Is the hair harder to take care of? Maybe that's a dumb question, but.
Oh, that's a good question. I was going to ask that too. Like, how do you keep them from, like if you take a curly haired human and you comb their hair, then it's like, boing, boing, boing. How do you do that with a curly horse?
Well, I'm to be fair, I have curly hair myself, so I have the experience in that. So I'm a little bit lucky, at least in that way. But it is similar. Like, so if your curly has really, really curly hair, like Odin does, you don't really brush it. If you do, it can kind of cause, breakage and kind of cause the mane and tail to be a little less healthy. So we usually say like wash, condition, finger comb, and maybe put some oil in it and let it go.
Oh my God, you have to get product you have to go to a little Walmart section hair, get your curly horse
bottle,
some hair.
The big bottle.
So
you need the Costco bottle.
I'm really impressed with your knowledge, but I'm going to try to stump you with this one question. So
sure.
What is the full name of the breed?
So the American Bashkir Curly is what it is known for with the registries.
And that's what I want to know is where did the Bashkir come from?
So originally...
Oh, she knows this, Glenn.
You can't
Or she's making it up. Awesome. Go.
I've had curlies for a long time, to be fair. So there was a documented case of some curly-haired horses. It was in Europe. I believe it was Russia. And those were called Bashkir horses. And when they started seeing these horses over here in the U.S., they thought they were related originally. They later determined they were not, but it was kind of just the first reference point. So the American Bashkir just kind of stuck. I will say, like, more recently, they've kind of taken to being called American Curlies because they have found out that they really are not related. But honestly, the name has been with them for so long that people know them as curly horses, Bashkir curly horses, American curly horses. Again, it's kind of whatever name you know.
Okay, Glenn, basically what I'm hearing is this is going to take over. It's like ABC. You can cover all months with this horse. This is the C for next month too.
Very versatile.
So I looked up, and you're right. Bashkirs are Russian. They're Russian people called Bashkirs, and they actually speak the Bashkir language.
Yeah. And I think their horses were used for mostly like meat and stuff as well, which is why I'm like,
well, that's
yeah,
true
we
of
don't
all
do that
the
here.
countries over there,
Yeah.
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 Well, really, yeah, it must be hard to train them when they speak Russian. That's weird. So if I was to go look for one, how do you go about finding one to buy?
So what I usually say, there's a website called curlyhorsecountry.com. That is like one of my favorite resources for anyone who like wants to learn more, wants to get in touch with a breeder. They have like a classified section as well, but it's a really nice, like digestible version of all of the information there is out there. Obviously, their registry websites are also excellent resources. So ABCR, ICHO, those are the two main registering bodies for curly horses. They have tons of good information on there, but I really like Curly Horse Country's breeder kind of documentation there, and you can contact breeders there. You can look through the classifieds. It's nice to kind of have it all in one place.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us to tell us about it, and keep updating us about Odin and your adventures with him.
Of course, will do. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you wouldn't let just anybody ride your horse. Would you just let anybody handle your pharmacy online and the prescription medications? You can put your trust in veterinarian-founded Valley Vet Supply, your source since 1985. Based in the heart of the Midwest, the valleyvet.com pharmacy is your trusted source for safe, affordable, and accurate prescription medication for your horses, livestock, and pets. You can have the peace of mind knowing that Valley Vet Supply Pharmacy is verified by the National Association Boards of Pharmacy, ensuring your animals receive best-in-class prescription medications. From common health conditions to sudden emergencies, Valley Vet Supply carries the prescription medication your horse needs at the best prices. Equestrians love shopping at valleyvet.com because it's their one-stop shop for their horse's needs. You too can simplify your shopping at valleyvet.com. Enjoy fast and free shipping on most orders today at valleyvet.com. It's like Auditor Day, Jamie, here on the show, because Auditor Jennifer Taylor, who you know very well, she asked us to get somebody on the show today, and I wanted to get her on because I wanted to find out what happened exactly. We have the world-renowned horse trainer and author, Leslie Desmond, on, and Leslie, thanks for joining us today. I know it's not the happiest of circumstances, but maybe we can all learn something from this, too.
Well, I'm absolutely overwhelmed and happy to be with you. This is quite a surprise. As I said, I thought we were going to talk about horses, and I'll just talk about what's on the schedule first.
You were heading home from Ocala. You had come down for the veterinary lameness conference at World Equestrian Center, right?
It was at another facility, but yes, it was just for a 4-day conference, and that was the first day. I had just arrived 6 hours before, and I was actually going down to book in at a campground down on just a little south of town. So I was headed there.
Did you have a trailer on your truck? Did you have a horse trailer or camper or what?
Oh, it was just a camper and then a big structure that I've built and put together to carry my tack boxes and my toolboxes and generator and solar panels, and pretty independent setup. It was actually Plan B after my 15 years effort to produce a place where I could bring people to me. That came to an abrupt end in 2019 under surprising circumstances. Not quite like this, but just as surprising. So I had to let go of the land, which was fully paid for, and then this became my mobile Plan B. And so it was pretty well prepared by then. It looked a little strange. I'll send you a picture of it, but
we do have a picture of it actually that Jennifer sent us. What make of truck was it?
It was a 2001 3500 Chevy Silverado. It was a crew cab dually and fully maintained, and really I kept it in top shape, I must say.
So what happened as you were driving down the road?
Well, just to answer the rest of your question, it did have a Capri camper on the back of it, and yeah, it was fully set up. What happened? Gosh darn, it just blew up, and I heard something under the hood, which turned out actually to be the first of 4 explosions. And quite shortly thereafter, I mean, just a second or two after, I saw some gigantic flames kind of reaching out into the lane next to me. I was on the right-hand lane going south on I-75, and I saw these flames kind of leaping toward the cars next to me. And at the first, I was just kind of amazed. I thought they were coming toward me from the center lane until I saw everybody leave. And then I thought, that not a good look. And so a few people pointed underneath my truck, underneath my engine. And I, looked for a place to get off. It was about 3:26, about exactly 3:26. And so I just pulled off when I just took a few extra seconds to brake and use my blinker. And then, honest to goodness, by the time I pulled over, the flames were jumping up to the mirrors. And just at that moment, I just realized I had to get out of there. That was it. But you asked me what happened. I don't know, except that it blew up and the flames coming in.
Let me get this right. You're driving at 70 miles an hour. Your truck blows up. There's flames everywhere. You got to get off the road, and you think to put your blinkers on?
I was going 58 miles an hour.
Okay. Still very fast.
Everybody else was going about 80 after they saw that, because I must say they cleared out pretty well. And but yeah, of course I put my blinker on. What do you think? I'm a pretty good driver, and I've got actually over 1 million miles I've driven, I think, by now in my life. I added it up one day in a bored moment. Anyway, yes, I've done a lot of driving, but yeah, I put my blinker on, and then I got over, and then I saw I couldn't get out of my seatbelt, and then I thought, I had this odd thought, I thought, Leslie, you are panicking, not allowed. And I looked in the flame.
There's the horse trainer coming out right there.
Yep. There you go.
I said, Leslie, you are panicking. Undo your seatbelt. And that's exactly what I would say if a student next to me was doing the same thing. I was fumbling around looking at these flames and people honking at me. And I think, okay, these are distractions. These are unnecessary distractions. Undo the seatbelt. So anyway, I did that. Don't ask me why I grabbed the phone and keys, but I'm glad I did. I grabbed those, and then I opened the door a little bit, and then I shut it. I thought, what the hell am I going to do?
Because there were flames there, you couldn't get out on that side?
Well, there were flames all over the whole place, in the front and on the sides and everywhere. In the front, yes. No, I just said, well, what you're going to do is you're going to jump and run. So I opened up the door again, and I leaped out and slammed the door, and then I left out of there top speed.
Jeez, this is crazy. So they never have determined what happened to the truck, or obviously something with the fuel system.
AAA hasn't shown up until I get back down there. They only gave me a very short while to unload the truck, and I had an appointment up in New York this weekend, and I also had an appointment in Michigan on Wednesday night. So I had to beat feet. I mean, this was not on the schedule, sort of, didn't get that memo. But adjustability is the name of the game with horses. So I'm kind of used to having to do whatever you do. But I didn't have enough time to unpack a truck that was fully prepared to carry me through the winter with, gear and work and electronics and video equipment and clothing and the whole works, it didn't all burn up, but plenty got wet, a lot burned up, but plenty got wet. When I say a lot burned up, I shouldn't make it sound like a large volume. Let's just say I did lose some things that I can't replace easily, and just mainly to water. And fortunately, they were really very quick, those responders, and very wonderful. I met some really, very, very lovely people who came to help. And I want to shout out to a fellow from Edmondson Electric who was behind me. A young fellow about 28 years old. His name is Hector. And he saw that, and I saw him speed by, and he gave me the high sign. And I was very busy trying to get this seatbelt off. But once I did, and I jumped out, and to be sure, I did jump out in those flames, and I didn't get even one hair or one clothing burned. I don't know how that happened, but not a single hair, not anything on my clothing, nothing. I cannot explain that, but I'm very glad that I don't have another tale to tell. I'm glad I can say anything about it at all. But anyway, I sure did run fast. And I would just encourage anybody with any doubt about their fitness to stay fit. Because I guess you just make sure you can run fast if you have to.
Wow.
But anyway, I saw this van pull up, I'd say about 400 feet down the road, possibly 300 feet. I'm not a great judge of distance, but anyway, he was looking toward me with his arms open. And I don't know, maybe 200 feet from the truck, 250 feet. He just gave me a hug and he said, "Come on, baby, get here, fire department, get here." He just started. He just was so enthusiastic to get that fire put out. And so we stood there and watched it burn. And that was it. By the time we walked back there, that thing was finished.
Wow.
And, a couple hours later, the thing was impounded in the junkyard. And he had to go home. I want to just talk to you about this man, because what a person. He was 28 years old. He had one more job to do before he turned his truck in. He lives 45 or 50 minutes from his job. And because I was at that conference, I had my name on a tag on my shirt. I never told him what my name was. And I started getting calls on my 800 number, which I do occasionally, but never 3 in a row, 4 in a row. And I thought, okay, this is somebody who needs to talk to me. Do you know he went to the effort to look me up on the internet, find my 800 number, and he wrote me a most beautiful letter. He said, "It's against my upbringing, and I'm ashamed that I left before I got your name, your phone number." He said, "I should have stayed there at the end and risked my job to comfort you in a time like that." He said, "My mother would be sorry that I did that. So I'm going home now. I'll collect my wife and babies, and I'll be back to wait with you at the side of the road until other people can make sure you have a place for the night." Can you believe it?
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was nice, and more than nice. That's an inspired, good story about a wonderful human being who did a wonderful thing for me, I would say. His name's Hector. He works for Edmonton Electric. Star employee, I would say.
Wow.
Really moved me to tears.
He was the person
greatly.
that was supposed to be there at that time for you. I mean, he was the one.
One of two. There was a fellow named Matthew Dyer from Road Rangers who also was there until the end, and he hung in there with me because he was, I guess he's the guy who arranges to make sure that people don't get involved in the thing, and then the truck gets pulled off and this and that. And he came back and helped me on his day off because I'm recovering from a broken hand about a year ago, broken arm and wrist, not working too well for about 20 months. And I couldn't really unload my camper very well from the impoundment place. And so he showed up with a truck on his day off to help me do that. Can you imagine that? That's some good people. And that's what I like, is to think about the nice things, and the good people, and what's really our fabric of our society and community is really the love, And
Leslie, that's what Mr. Rogers would always say in times of tragedy or anything like that, events like that, look for the helpers. And he proved himself to be quite the helper. I hope you do get to write him back and maybe write his company a note and let him know how important he is.
I've already done it. Just haven't
found
the stamp yet. Oh, yeah. No, I don't have any reservation about expressing gratitude. I've been around really lovely people most of my life, I have to say. So, yeah, but I will say it was a tough start to the winter.
I bet, yeah. That's not the way anybody wants to start. I'm just so glad that could have been a whole different outcome, and we might not be talking to you today, so thank God we are.
Thank you.
And ironically, the place where your truck caught on fire is one of the most dangerous parts of highways on the East Coast, on that route, I-75. There's always trouble on that road. So it's ironic that happened right at that particular spot. But
Well, I want to say the next day, I was going down to do another errand, and I realized that I was going down to, the errand was to see what was left that I could salvage out of there at the place where they had it. And I was looking for the spot because that night there was quite a significant impact on the ground, quite a bit of burn and all the rest. And do you know, there were so many burn marks along that between those two exits. I thought, this must be a very common occurrence here.
It's a sad section of road, to be honest.
Well, I have to say, I can say that I could see visible signs of at least 8 or 9 accidents between those two exits. I mean, and not in the distant past either. No. I mean, there were noticeable signs of distress along there, so I wasn't exactly sure that anyway, I'm extremely, extremely grateful to be alive and to have met those wonderful people. And also, I have to say, there's been a very generous effort of Nikki Frechette from Keene, New York at Rookery Ranch, and Jennifer at the R&B Quarter Horses up in New Boston, Michigan. They just got together and threw this thing together for me the next day. And this fundraiser has just been, it's been very moving. I've been very touched and very moved at the effort and the commitment that people are making to reach out and to tell me how much they appreciate that I didn't get toasted up. And
we'll put a link to it's a GoFundMe, and it was, it's started, as you said, a couple days ago, but we'll put a link to it so that people can find it easily. And it looks like 50 people have donated already. So good for them. And thanks to Jennifer, one of our listeners too, for putting us in contact with you and for also getting this started.
I should say so. I'm very grateful. And I would love to, I have to say, kind of selfishly, I would love to talk about horses sometime this year.
We'll have you back to do that. So we'll have you back another day when we can focus on that, something a little happier. Okay. But I did want to talk to you here because I wanted to, make sure that everybody knew about the fundraiser and also just the amazing story of getting out. I mean, that's just amazing.
Well, if you saw... I don't know if you saw the picture of how big that fire was.
I did.
It was literally in 2 minutes. I'd say as much as it took me to run about 150 feet or 200 feet to where Hector was and turn around, that fire got like that. I took one little picture on my own as soon as I got clear of it, about 100 feet. And then then Matthew Dyer from the Road Rangers, he said, you go on. And then I turned around and I proceeded, and I could see that Hector was running toward me. And so we stood back a good ways and we just watched it smoke down together. And the fire department was great. I wish I had those fellows' names because they said they saw it right there, smoke. And they said, when we see smoke there, we just come.
Jeez.
So I guess you're right. It seems like a popular place to have a disaster.
Well, we're glad you're okay, and we will have you back. I'll reach out to Ashley and make sure that we have you back to talk about horses the next time.
Wonderful. Well, I'm very touched and grateful, and I look forward to hearing your voices again.
All right. Thank you, Leslie. And we'll put a link to, as I said, listeners, you can just find it in the show notes. Just scroll left or right or up or down, and you'll find the GoFundMe. We'll put it in there.
Thanks, Leslie.
Well, the only caveat I would add is that in advance, I will thank all your listeners for their good wishes, positive thoughts, and I don't want anyone to feel obliged. The only way that it feels good to me is if it doesn't, cause an ounce of hardship. I don't want anyone to do anything that isn't really easy because, it's hard. These times are not as easy as they have been in former times. So I'm grateful for whatever assistance in any way that someone can provide if they want to, including give me some work because I'd had to cancel quite some stuff now. And so I did cancel quite a few things because I have no way to get there. So if anybody would like to consider something like that in the future, maybe after we talk another time, maybe that would be something that would also be meaningful so I could work for the money.
As horse owners, we spend a lot of time on the road. Let US Rider help keep you covered. Our equestrian motor plan offers fast, reliable, nationwide service from our highly trained roadside assistance team. 24/7 coverage for both you and your horse. Membership includes horse trailer servicing, towing, flat tire repair, even on dual wheels, battery assistance, and lockout service on any vehicle in your plan. We also have your equine companions covered with referrals for emergency vet services, farrier referrals, and emergency stabling assistance. Get peace of mind on the road for you and your horse. Join US Rider today.
He says one thing and he means another, but hey, he can't help it. He's a horse trader. Horse trading. Well, it's a laissez-faire. Let the buyer beware. Horse trading. They tell a low-down lie with a sincere stare. Horse trading. Well, if they're talking in circles and the deal ain't square, he's a master in the fine art of persuading. horse trading.
Well, it's the time for Really Bad Ads. You know, we have the weirdest show because we're going from that to Really Bad Ads. It just seems,
I know,
it's such strange.
We talked about fire. We talked about horses. We talked about fire. Now we're going to talk about horses again. It makes sense.
Just show us kind of weird. All right. It's time for Really Bad Ads. Listeners submit bad ads from Craigslist or Facebook, and we just have a little bit of fun with them. For some reason, this comes up every time I'm doing a Podfest talk because somebody's heard about Really Bad Ads in the past, and they asked me to explain it. So I had to explain it again at Podfest this year. I don't know why. So we have some prizes this month, and we're going to continue with giving away the books that are hanging around my studio, taking up room. And I wanted to say the winners for last month, I finally got to the post office to send out your books because I hate going to the post office. So they're on the way. All right. One of the books we're giving away is Preparing Your Horse or Donkey for Veterinary Care, Practical Training to Establish Good Behavior, Relieve Stress, and Ensure Safety. Next one is Newcomer to the Horse World by Andrea Sinner, and she demystifies the bewildering traditions and cultures of the horse world for new people. It's a good book, actually. If you have somebody that you know that's getting into it for the first time, give them that book. And Your Complete Guide to Equine Arenas by Abigail Boatwright. We had her on talking about that. Jamie keeps wanting me to send that book to her for her indoor, but I'm going to send it to one of you instead.
My indoor that is just coming anytime soon, you guys. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, the bulldozers are out there now.
Oh, man, I see it coming up in the distance. It's coming. Now, remember, if you did send in a really bad ad and we don't use it on the show, you're still in the drawing for the winners like Shelly and Sandy did. But the first one comes in from Paige. Man, there's a Facebook page for everything. And okay. So this is from the Horses for Sale South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia Facebook page.
Why didn't they include Alabama or Mississippi?
I don't know, man. keeping it really local. Doc is a 15-3, 17 Yo QH Draft Cross Gelsing. This horse you can ride. Oh, wait a second. What am I doing?
This is South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, I got to read it like that because the next couple sentences just suck it right back down to Georgia. Doc is a 15.3, 17 yoke quarter horse draft cross Gelson. This horse you can ride barefoot, backwards, and wasted. He genuinely does not care. If you can sit in a chair, you can ride Doc. I can take as many photos and videos as you'd like. Now, I'm looking at the picture of Doc, which are fairly terrible quality photos, but I will give you $100 if this horse is 17.
Yes,
27.
27. Yeah, he did look kind of old to me too. But he's the perfect horse. Anybody can do anything.
And usually people say, "Don't come in here and kick my tires. What you see is what you get. Don't send me no private message. You're gonna have to." No, this person's like, "I will do whatever it takes to get you to take this horse."
Katie sent the next one. Oh, this is not a horse. I think it's selling a house, but I'm not sure.
Oh.
Uncensored Off-Grid Living Facebook group. Okay. There's a Facebook group for everything.
If it's uncensored, you better be careful reading this thing.
We need to do a list of the weirdest Facebook groups. We need to find that. Want to risk your marriage for the low price of $75,000? Living off-grid is a dream for many, and here's your chance to live the dream. You'll gain strength of character and long-lost skills as you survive like they did in the 1800s. Oh, he's really selling it. You'll enjoy the eye-burning benefits of reading books by oil lamp because this fantastic off-grid homestead is located in the technology black hole. Your urban screen addict kids will turn into hard-working country folk. No, they're going to turn into miserable brats is what they're going to turn into. Until they locate a willing friend or relative and go live in the modern life with them. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Leaving you and your partner to fend for yourself. Then just the two of you will really appreciate the composting toilet that needs emptied when it's minus 10 degrees. Revel in the endless supply of water from your roof rainwater collection system until a squirrel drowns in it. Baking bread in your 1940s wood stove is a joy when it's 98 degrees in the shade, provided you remember to shift the weevils out of the flour first.
sift the weevils out of the flour.
And let us not forget the good-natured competition between you and the most mosquito bites received during your weekly outdoor shower.
Oh my God.
So come question your life choices and buy this off-grid 7 acres of paradise. Livestock, winter stores, furniture, basically everything conveys. Boarded on all sides by national forest. So get your ducks in a row before you move in. Ain't nobody coming to rescue you. This guy bought this place because, YouTubers make this homesteading thing in the middle of nowhere with no services look glamorous. They make it look so wonderful. You're out there chopping wood. You're sitting by the fire. This guy bought into that and hated every minute of his life.
Okay, let me just point some things out. Reading books by the oil lamp.
Yeah.
There's no cell phone service or anything. You have to cook in a wood stove when it's summertime and empty your composting toilet when it's wintertime. And then there's mosquitoes and ain't nobody coming to rescue you.
And weevils in your bread flour. So there.
Oh.
This sounds so romantic. All right, let's hear from Lorene. She recorded her own. And what happens when they record their own, Jamie?
They get double the entries. And if you record it of your own in a different accent, then you get triple the entries.
Hi, good morning. It's Lorene Barden, and I'm going to read a really bad ad. And this is a Craigslist ad, and it's titled Horse for Sale $1,000. 2 years old mare and female horse for sale. Thought a mare and a female horse were the same thing, but maybe not. $1,000 each. Both $1,500. Healthy quarter horse, halter broke, 14.3 hands still growing. Bring your large trailer. Text only, no negotiation, no additional photos. Wow. So I don't know what this mare does, and I don't know what the female horse does either. It doesn't tell you, but there's no negotiation, so you can have them both for exactly $1,500. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See, it's the opposite. I told you there's people like that. They won't do nothing. Yet they want you to come to their house and kick their tires. Actually, I think what happens a lot of times is people just want you to just send them the money and I'll send you the horse. Yeah. Y'all don't do that. Don't do that. People are stealing money right and left. Now, I feel like I did not do a great job with the last accent because it was a mix of North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And those are three very different accents, but this one comes from Jamie. Hi, Jamie. And this is from the Facebook page, Affordable Horses in the Carolinas. Affordable Horses in the Carolinas. Anybody got male, M-A-I-L, horse to help me get May? Female horse pregnant near Fairmont, North Carolina. Wait, what?
He wants a free breeding with a male horse.
Anybody got male, M-A-I-L, horse? You know what? Don't do that! Stop it!
I gave you this one specifically to get you riled up.
God! It's infuriating! You can't even spell. You don't need to be breeding no babies.
For free. Oh, we don't want to pay for it either, by the way.
I got a gelding, I'll lend you. Go ahead.
Look, I made you forget about your shoulder for 2 minutes right
there.
See,
I just threw my arms in the air and now I'm bleeding. Thank you.
Debbie loves this one. Description. Reliable older stock horse trailer. Ideal for transporting livestock with ease. I didn't look at the picture yet, but I'm having my doubts about that sentence.
I haven't scrolled down either.
This rugged trailer features a spacious interior designed to accommodate various animals, ensuring their comfort during travel. We've said comfort about 3 times now. The open designs allows for excellent ventilation and visibility, making it perfect for transporting livestock. That's usually what a livestock trailer is. Equipped with recently upgraded gates and a secure towing system. Used for hauling our kids' 4-H projects. We are selling this trailer as well as another to upgrade. Measures 16 foot by 7 foot. Title in hand. Well, that's a first in all of these ads. There's actually a title. Oh, my.
I don't see anything comfortable about this trailer.
I think this is one of those old steel ones that weighs about 1 million pounds, too. This is a 4-horse tag-along old steel trailer. They didn't have any well, they used to have a window in the front, but it's sheet metal now.
There is zero ventilation. Like, you put your animals in this, they will be dead by the time you arrive. There's no air coming in this thing at all. Even the little air vents are boarded up. And it looks like it's like a white or it's painted white, but there's like the seam at the roof that where it meets the walls, and that's rusted out. The top is going to fly off this thing, and then your horses get ventilation. So win-win.
I will say, I'll give them credit for one thing. We can see the tires. They actually weed whacked around the tires. We can see them.
Do you notice that the door of the trailer on the back actually doesn't belong with that trailer?
Well, that's what they said. They replaced the gate. I think that's what they meant. They replaced the door, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
it also says excellent ventilation and visibility. I don't think so.
I get the next one too. Oh. All right. Amy sent this one in. This is in Michigan. ISO, last horse for grandma, first horse for granddaughter. Must. That means not optional. Okay. Let me try this. Must, that means not optional. Have 4 legs that constantly work, even if 1/all require occasional maintenance. Legs ugly as sin, but still work? Sounds great. Not have potential? I don't want potential. I want been there, done that, maxed out, and have the t-shirt. Been at least 14 hands or taller? That's 56 inches at the withers. Be at least 14 hands or taller. Between the ages of 5 and 15 years old, we already have the equine cast of grumpy old men at our place. Could be a great horse and has potential to be a 1-star horse. Nope. See above about potential. I don't care if the horse has movement of an ostrich and is barely making it past the basics. That sounds like a winner to me. Maintain its sanity on both trail rides and at events. If it needs a downer to leave the property, I'm not about that life. Not have 1 foot in the grave? Let's be honest. Girls want to go fast sometimes, so a horse that will not trot unless beaten within an inch of its life is not going to work. WTC. Not to be a petty who demands perfection. This horse needs to have a PhD in staying between the ground and the rider's bum. Needs to appreciate comedy. Oh, and not across the continental United States from Michigan, because I only do a 6-hour radius. Wow,
oh my God. What is your, like, it's just very, like, I would say passive aggressive, but there's really nothing passive. It's just very aggressive.
I thought they threw a little humor in to take the aggressiveness out. It didn't work.
Didn't work. No. I don't think that came across as you think that came across.
But they have the t-shirt.
Okay. Heather sent the next one in. Okay. It doesn't say where it's from. It's cut off, which means Jen probably did that.
Located in Marysville, Washington.
Oh, Washington at the bottom. It doesn't say what Facebook page is from.
Oh, yeah.
14. Okay, there's no punctuation and no capitalization in this whole thing. And any number I read is the number, and a lot of things are, yeah.
Good luck.
14-year-old Mustang based on his Tato gelding 14, hands tall, ranch and cattle work are. He's bread and butter great on the trails as well. I use him for rodeos. Any one can ride this horse. I trust him to where I put my kids on him. He could use better ground manners, but as Septional under saddle, located in Marysville, Washington. I don't even know what I read.
I love the ones he's great under saddle, but you know what? You can't handle him on the ground.
Just throw your baby on up there. Throw your baby on up there. You'll be fine. I can't. I've never seen exceptional spelled that way. ESEP. What? Oh, God, that's a terrible ad. All right, you got the next one, and now you have to do. This one includes Virginia.
Okay, this is quality horses in South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Grade paint mare. She is 18. She was a lesson summer camp horse on my mom's farm. Okay, this one has way too much punctuation. Let me start over. I was just like, why are there 14 sentences in 2? All right, let me try again. Grade paint mare. She is 18. She was a lesson summer camp horse on my mom's farm. She loves attention. She is a little artistic in the front. What? She's a little artistic in the front. So she needs shoes and a supplement. Update Coggins and shots. I only have pick. 1800 OBO. She needs her own person to love her. Easier keep her at the bottom of the pecking order. She is close to 15 hands. That means she's not 15 hands, by the way.
I'm going to jump in here and just tell you that if they have photos and they say they can't get a video, run away. Everybody can get a video nowadays. You're going to tell me you have a flip phone that doesn't have a video on it? Please, don't you lie to me. You just posted this on Facebook. If it's a horse, you can walk outside and make a video. I will not go see horses without videos anymore, ever again. Not ever again.
Jennifer didn't either.
Yeah.
I love that how they say, I only have a pick, and then they post 5 picks.
Yeah. Haley sent the next one in, and this is sale or trade for $1,000 in Mills. I don't know where Mills is. Walking horse gelding, 17 years great. Ride horse and mare, quarter horse, 12 years old. Good riding horses, 1,000 each or deal on both. Just don't have no time for them. Took a job driving trucks. Have 3 good saddles, pads, everything but a trailer. Sale or trade, guns, boats, motorcycle.
Okay. People, I got to talk about this one because we haven't had a trade for guns in a little while, but we've had 100 of them over the years. Nobody that I know that has guns is trading them for anything. How many of these people actually traded a gun for a horse? That's what I want to know. If you've ever done that and you're listening, let us know because we want to know.
I would trade my husband's guns for a horse.
Your husband wouldn't trade a gun for a horse, though.
Nope.
People are very particular about their guns. They're not trading it for a horse.
Yeah, if they do, it's because it's their husband's and they want a horse.
That's right.
Brielle sent the next one in, and this is a horse at 29. That's a Craigslist ad for $2,900 in Woodlawn. Any questions? Call the number. Leave your number. I have questions. What the hell am I looking at? First of all, it's a picture of what looks to be what are the blankets, Appaloosa, but it's also in like a V shape with a pinto, and they look like they have one butt because their heads are facing like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, and their butts are meeting right in the
Siamese.
middle. It's a Siamese horse. I have questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Number. I love that. Any questions? Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Which horse, first of all?
I have a lot of questions.
Why am I feeling like I was mad at the ads today?
Because everybody's yelling at us. Or trying to breed with a mailman. I don't know. It's just terrible. Yeah.
Anyway.
You're right. I feel like everybody has been super rude today on Really Bad Ads. Good thing we had some really lovely guests.
Yes, we had some lovely guests. Well, a lot of tragedy, though. So you see, it's that kind of show. It was fire, tragedy, and ads that made us mad. So there we go.
I feel like I need to go into the Oklahoma Craigslist and just click on the first one that comes up.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Let's see. See, the problem with the Oklahoma farm and garden section is everybody's selling wood chippers and lawnmowers and Angus
chickens.
There's cows. Let's see. I gotta find a horse ad. Let's see. Oh gosh. Oh God. There you go. Here's a picture of what looks to be some sort of Appaloosa. And this is in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Grade mare, 1,700 firm, 7 years old, broke to ride. Hadn't been ridden in a year.
There's always a but.
Needs a non-heavy experienced rider. So no bad guys allowed.
On that note, have a great weekend, everybody.
Rogue, but it ain't been ridden in a year.
Enjoy your minus 20 degree temperatures. And apparently Anchorage has no snow and they're just being fine up there. So enjoy your lovely weather in Anchorage when it's colder than Florida than Anchorage right now. So
it's supposed to be in the 40s here today. So I'm going to go out and play with horses. You just watch.
It's an upside down world. We'll see y'all on Monday.
Well, here's what's weird too. I will tell you, Ace with my sling on is terrified of me. I can't get close to him. He spooks when I walk in the barn.
No post show. Enjoy your weekend.
Spay neuter gal. Bye.